Look at your golden retriever right now.
Those eyes are not empty. They're searching, waiting for something you might not even realize you're giving or withholding.
Every stare your dog gives carries a silent message. And most owners have no idea they're answering it wrong. Here's the truth. Your dog isn't just looking at you because you moved or because you're holding a treat. They stare because, to them, you are the center of their emotional universe. That gaze is their language, their way to measure whether they're safe, connected, or slowly drifting away from you. Studies from several behavioral universities have confirmed that dogs use eye contact to synchronize with their owner's emotions, almost like an invisible wireless connection between two species. But here's the uncomfortable part. Sometimes your silence speaks louder than any command. When you look away too quickly, scroll on your phone, or ignore their eyes while talking, they read it as disconnection. To you, it's harmless.
To them, it's rejection. Think about it for a second. How often do you catch your dog watching you when you're not paying attention?
That's not random curiosity.
That's emotional surveillance. They're checking if the world they built around you is still stable.
Golden retrievers are particularly sensitive to this kind of emotional reading. Their long history as assistants and family dogs has amplified their ability to read human faces. Researchers even found that they can differentiate between subtle changes in your eyes, whether you're faking calm or truly relaxed. Imagine that. Your pet knows when you're sad even before you speak a word. When their gaze lingers, what they're saying is simple but profound. I'm here.
I can feel you. Can you feel me back?
There's an invisible myth that ruins this bond. You've probably heard it. Dogs just stare because they want something. Food, walks, affection.
But that's only half the truth.
When you accept that idea, you reduce your dog's emotional world to basic needs, ignoring the far more complex communication happening through their eyes. That myth makes you respond on autopilot. He's just hungry. And in doing so, you miss the deeper conversation unfolding in silence. Now let's talk biology. The moment your dog locks eyes with you, their body releases oxytocin, the same hormone responsible for bonding between human parents and their newborns. It's his way of rewarding connection. You feel calmer, they feel safer.
It's not metaphorical love. It's chemical attachment.
Ignoring their gaze doesn't just disappoint them emotionally, it literally disrupts that hormonal loop, leaving them emotionally underfed. Think about it like this. Each missed gaze is like skipping a meal in the relationship diet. But why does that look sometimes feel so intense, almost human? Because evolution designed it that way. For thousands of years, dogs who could read human faces survived better. They got more food, more protection, more love. Your golden retriever is the result of that silent selection, a creature wired to understand your micro-reactions with heartbreaking precision. When they stare, they're not guessing your mood.
They're decoding it.
And when you respond with calm eye contact and a steady tone, you're sending back reassurance through the only channel they trust more than your voice. Now, here's what breaks my heart. Many owners misinterpret this stare as manipulation or awkwardness.
They say, he's weirdly obsessed with me.
But that stare is trust. Pure, unfiltered trust. Every single look is a question only you can answer. Are we okay? If your answer, through body language or neglect, is unclear, that trust starts to erode, one silent glance at a time. It's simpler than you think.
Meet their gaze.
Don't turn away. When they stare, give them 2 silent seconds of acknowledgement. Let their eyes lock into yours until they exhale or blink.
That tiny action tells them the ancient code still works. You are still part of their pack, their family, their safety net.
Repetition turns those seconds into emotional anchors, rebuilding a bridge that technology, distraction, and stress have quietly weakened over time.
So, the next time those golden eyes meet yours, don't dismiss it.
That's not just a stare. It's a heartbeat extended into silence, waiting for an answer. And the way you respond could be the difference between a pet who feels seen and one who silently wonders if you ever noticed them at all.
Be honest, when was the last time you really looked back? You've heard it 1,000 times. He's just a dog.
It sounds innocent, even logical, right?
But that simple phrase has quietly ruined millions of human-canine relationships.
Because when you start believing your golden retriever is just a dog, you strip meaning from every emotion they show, every stare, every act of patience they give, waiting for you to understand. Let's be clear, dogs are not machines built to obey.
They're emotional translators, designed by evolution to read your smallest cues.
When your golden retriever stares at you, they don't see a distant owner. They sense a living map of emotions they can decode. To them, your size, your smile, even your silence speak louder than any command. And when you respond with indifference, you're not ignoring just a dog. You're breaking a centuries-old emotional code written between species.
Here's where the myth starts twisting the truth.
Generations of owners have been told dogs act out of instinct, not intention. That idea makes it easier to dismiss their stares as just conditioning. But scientists discovered that your dog's gaze activates the same brain regions that light up in you when you look at someone you love. That's not obedience, it's empathy. They're mirroring your feelings, moment by moment, through a channel so ancient that words can't even reach it. Think about the last time your golden retriever stared at you after you raised your voice, or when you came home upset and they hesitated before wagging their tail. That hesitation wasn't confusion, it was evaluation. They were reading you like an emotional radar, deciding if it was safe to reconnect or if they should stay still, waiting for the emotional storm to pass.
It's not cute.
It's survival through empathy. What's dangerous about the myth of just a dog is how it numbs your responsibility.
It turns genuine behavior into background noise. When you believe they don't really feel, you start missing their signals, those soft stares, small distance shifts, the quiet waiting at the door.
Suddenly, what used to be emotional dialogue becomes static.
And every time you miss a cue, your golden retriever's confidence in the bond weakens by a tiny, invisible fraction. Those fractions accumulate faster than you think.
Here's the thing most owners don't realize. When you treat your dog like an emotional equal, they don't become spoiled. They become stable. Validation builds security.
The moment you respond to their stare with presence and calm, their breathing slows, their oxytocin rises, and the loop of trust completes.
Emotionally, they're not asking for dominance or submission. They're asking for harmony. Ignoring that is like turning off the only light they use to navigate their world. Golden retrievers are masters of empathy because they were bred to work beside humans, not beneath them. For centuries, they read hand gestures, body signals, and eyes, not words. Calling that just instinct is like calling music just sound. Their emotional intelligence is real, measurable, and heartbreakingly loyal. Every stare is a question, every tail wag a punctuation mark. The myth makes you tone deaf to this language, leaving them talking into emotional silence. But there's hope, and it doesn't require theory or training tricks. It starts with acknowledgement. When your dog stares, resist the urge to label it as begging or boredom. You'll notice the soft muscles around their eyes, the slow blink, the tilt of their head. That's your dog speaking fluently in love's oldest dialect. Respond with calm presence, and you'll feel something shift. Instant synchronization between your biology and theirs.
It's not magic.
It's ancient empathy at work. The next time someone tells you, it's just a dog, remember this. If as proven their gaze can raise your heart rate, soften your stress, and even regulate your breathing, then just a dog might be more human than most people you know. Be honest with yourself. How many times have you underestimated what those eyes were trying to tell you? The myth kept you blind. Now you can finally see the truth. When your golden retriever stares, they're not asking for food. They're asking for connection. Don't miss the conversation that's been waiting for you all along. Your golden retriever doesn't just watch you, they absorb you. Every tone in your voice, every tension in your shoulders, every sigh that escapes your mouth becomes data they emotionally process.
To them, your mood is not invisible energy.
It's a signal that dictates the safety and rhythm of their entire world.
And the unsettling part is that they reflect it back to you like a living mirror, magnifying whatever you're feeling, whether you realize it or not. When you come home stressed, talking loudly, moving fast, their body adjusts instantly.
Their breathing shortens, their tail lowers slightly, and they start analyzing your every move.
They don't know about your job, your bills, or your phone notifications, but they know when something is off.
They feel it through the hormonal shifts you release, especially cortisol, the stress hormone. And, ironically, the more you ignore that effect, the more their anxiety dances in perfect synchronization with yours. This emotional mirroring is not guesswork, it's biological empathy. Studies have shown that when you gaze at your dog, both of your oxytocin levels rise simultaneously. That's the hormone tied to affection, trust, and bonding. It means that your emotions quite literally enter their bloodstream. Your calm reassures their nervous system. Your chaos confuses it. You think you're hiding your emotions, but to your golden retriever, you're an open book written in chemical ink. Have you ever noticed that when you're sad, your golden retriever stays close without needing commands? Or when you're angry, they hesitate, stepping back slightly but still watching. That's not fear, it's calibration.
They're tuning their emotional frequency to yours.
And just like a mirror, they don't choose what to reflect.
They reflect what stands before them.
If your life is full of noise, they internalize it. If your heart is steady, they rest easier.
This effect can be beautiful or devastating, depending on how you handle it.
If you're emotionally aware, you can use it to strengthen your connection. A few minutes of calm breathing near your dog lowers both your heart rates, syncing your systems in a kind of biological conversation. But if you're constantly irritated, anxious, or distracted, your golden retriever carries the burden like a sponge that can't stop absorbing your storms. Over time, that silent absorption leads to behavioral confusion, restlessness, whining, or inexplicable neediness. It's their way of saying, I don't know which version of you I'm following today.
Here's the heartbreaking truth. They never blame you. They just adjust. Every time you apologize too late, every time you yell and later feel guilty, they've already moved past it emotionally, but not chemically. It stays in their nervous system, a subtle shadow that takes hours or days to fade.
You may forget, but they don't because they live fully in the present, your present. Their emotional stability depends on your consistency more than on your affection. But there's redemption here, and it starts with awareness. You can flip the mirror effect from a source of tension into a source of healing. Slow your breathing before you approach them. Speak in lower tones. Offer touch with intention, not distraction. In a matter of minutes, you'll see their posture loosen, their eyes soften, their breath fall into rhythm with yours. That's not training. That's emotional regulation through biological harmony. And yes, it works faster than you imagine. Think about it. Your dog might be the only creature who experiences your emotions more vividly than you do. They don't rationalize or suppress. They just feel, absorb, and mirror. So, the next time you catch your golden retriever staring deeply at you after a long day, ask yourself not, "What's wrong with him?" but "What is he reflecting from me?" Hello? When you change your emotional pattern, you don't just help yourself, you recalibrate the entire emotional ecosystem that your dog calls home. In the end, your golden retriever's stare is both a question and an answer. It says, "I see you," but it also quietly asks, "Will you see me too?"
The mirror works both ways.
Look long enough, and what you'll find in those golden eyes isn't just reflection, it's truth. There's a moment every dog owner recognizes, but rarely understands. You feel it when your golden retriever's stare changes, softer, slower, heavier. It's no longer curiosity or simple attention. It's a plea wrapped in silence, a quiet question that echoes louder than bark or whimper. "Do you still see me?"
That's when a stare transforms from communication into desperation.
Golden retrievers are emotional sponges, but they're also emotional believers. They believe that their human's love is infinite and reliable. But when that bond begins to weaken through distraction, inconsistency, or absence, they turn to the only tool they have left, their eyes. That prolonged stare isn't manipulation. It's the canine equivalent of reaching out a hand, searching for reassurance. And the tragedy is that most owners interpret it as neediness or guilt, pushing them further away.
Think about how often that look appears when you're busy, mid-scroll on your phone, halfway through a sentence, or lost in your thoughts.
They watch and wait for you to notice, to meet their gaze, to say without words, "I haven't forgotten you." When you don't, silence fills the space where connection should live. Your golden retriever doesn't throw tantrums or hold grudges. They just quietly begin to stare longer, harder, hoping you'll finally register that something in their small world feels off balance. Here's what's secretly happening in their body during those long stares. Their oxytocin levels spike in anticipation of emotional reward. But when it never comes, when you don't look back or reach out, the hormone fades, replaced by confusion and stress. Over time, this repeated loop starts teaching them something dangerous, that love is unpredictable. Imagine the emotional exhaustion of waiting for acknowledgement that should come naturally. That's the slow erosion of trust, and it rarely makes noise until the bond is already frail. You've probably seen it before.
The subtle paw placed on your knee.
The deep exhale when you stand up to leave again. The quiet following you from room to room, as if every shadow hides loneliness.
Those aren't habits, they're coping mechanisms.
It's your dog saying, "I'll stay close until you remember we belong to each other."
And that pleading stare?
It's the final layer of hope before emotional detachment begins.
Once that hope fades, behavior issues surface, not out of rebellion, but out of heartbreak.
Neglect doesn't always look like yelling or mistreatment. Sometimes it looks like busyness disguised as love, feeding them on time, walking them, but rarely connecting. A golden retriever's emotional needs are subtler than most realize.
They don't need constant entertainment. They crave responsive attention.
And when that's missing, the bond doesn't explode. It quietly dries, molecule by molecule, until they stop looking at you because looking hurts too much. Emotional dehydration is real in dogs. It's the silent killer of connection. But here's where redemption begins. That same pleading stare can become healing again. The moment you stop, sit down, and acknowledge it, you reverse the damage instantly. Your dog doesn't hold grudges, they hold faith. All it takes is 2 or 3 intentional looks a day, matched with gentle verbal acknowledgement to refill their emotional reserves. Whisper their name, Keep your gaze steady. Breathe slowly.
You will see their eyes soften, their body loosen, and their tail move in small, grateful arcs.
That's your proof that they've been waiting for you all along. Remember, to your golden retriever, eye contact isn't dominance, it's devotion. When they plead with their stare, they're not demanding, they're remembering. They're remembering a time when your presence felt warm and your attention meant safety. The good news?
You can return to that space with almost no effort. Stop what you're doing, look at them, and simply say, "I see you."
That's all they ever wanted, to be emotionally visible in the only way they understand. Next time those golden eyes pierce through your distractions, don't turn away. That stare is not a nuisance, it's love enduring disappointment.
And if you choose to answer it, even once, you'll notice something extraordinary. The plea will vanish, replaced by peace.
Because to them, being seen by you is not a privilege.
It doesn't take grand gestures to heal a bond. It takes seconds.
The space between you and your golden retriever can be rebuilt through something so simple it almost feels absurd. Eye contact. Those few silent moments, when both of you lock eyes and breathe together, act like emotional reset buttons.
Every gaze becomes a tiny handshake between hearts, telling your dog, "I'm here again."
And believe it or not, and instinct agree on this, connection starts not with words, but with sight.
For years, people misunderstood dog training as control. But with a breed like the Golden Retriever, cooperation matters more than command. The eye contact bond works because it triggers oxytocin in both of you, the same hormone that bonds infants to parents.
That means when you make intentional, calm eye contact with your dog, you're not training them. You're chemically rebuilding trust, turning mere coexistence back into companionship. Think of it as emotional physiotherapy. Each look is a small repetition that strengthens the muscle of trust. Here's how quickly this can change everything.
Start with stillness.
Sit with your dog, no distractions, just a few deep breaths. Look into their eyes until they blink or soften their expression. That's the signal their nervous system has accepted your calm as truth. It takes maybe 5 seconds, but internally, it regulates both heart rates and lowers stress levels. That's communication on a biological level. No words, no struggle, just shared calm. But don't fake it. Dogs sense authenticity the way humans sense tone.
If your mind is elsewhere, if you're rushing through the moment, they'll feel it immediately.
Eye contact only works when your intention is quiet honesty. Try it after an argument, a long workday, or even during sadness. You'll notice your golden retriever changing posture slowly. Ears relax, breathing slows, tail shifts gently. That's their way of whispering back, "I can feel you again." You might be wondering how something this small fixes years of disconnection. The answer is rhythm. Every gaze, every touch, every glance shared consistently builds a pattern. The same kind of rhythm that bonds wolves in packs or parents with children. The pattern teaches your dog predictability, which is emotional safety in its purest form. Without rhythm, they live in confusion. With it, they know every day includes a moment of pure attention, no matter what life throws your way. Now, let's be honest, this doesn't mean staring contests or excessive affection. True connection lies in moderation and timing. 2 or 3 intentional sessions of eye contact a day are enough. Add a soft word, a hand on their chest, or a slow blink, and the emotional bond grows exponentially. It's not about intensity, it's about consistency. Every repetition tells their instinct, "This person is still my anchor." And anchors, once felt, keep them emotionally grounded even when you're away. Rebuilding the eye contact bond also transforms behavior in ways you'll notice within days. Separation anxiety starts shrinking.
Suddenly, your dog doesn't chase attention, but waits calmly for connection.
That's because you've replaced insecurity with clarity.
You've shown them that attention is not random, but reliable.
To a golden retriever, that's not comfort, it's survival. They're emotionally wired to serve connection, and when you maintain it, they thrive both mentally and physically. Here's the best part. It costs you nothing but awareness.
You don't need extra gadgets, treats, or complex rituals. Just sight, stillness, and sincerity.
Over time, those seconds stack up like quiet declarations of loyalty. And one day, when life gets heavy and you look into your dog's eyes, you'll realize something profound. They're not just looking back, they're reflecting your best self, the version of you that still knows how to love without words. So tonight, give your golden retriever what they've been waiting for, a look that means presence, not habit. Let your eyes rest on theirs until the world slows down.
Because that's all they ever needed from you. Not perfection, just attention. Two souls returning to the same silent language they've always shared.
One look at a time, you'll rebuild the connection neither of you ever truly lost.